Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another transfer news update show. We've got lots to talk about in today's video. We'll be talking about everything that FABRIZIO Romano's had to say. We'll be talking about the latest on Camavinga, latest on Saul, latest on Neves, latest on Pogba. Lots of updates. We'll talk about the Manchester United midfield situation and all of that. But I also am going to address a lot of my live chats in today's video because I think in my last couple of videos I have been waffling, I have been talking a bit too much transfer news, and I do want to address a lot of the comments in the chat as well. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe down below, share this video. Of course, do vote for me in the Football Content Awards. I'm hoping to get nominated for a second year in a row. Link to that is in the description, so make sure you vote for me, hit the like button, subscribe down below, share this video. But let's get into the Camavinga news, let's get into the transfer news, let's get into everything there is to talk about in today's video. And of course, any questions for me, pop them down below in the live chat and all of that. We've got some people that put some early comments in. Your thoughts on why risking losing Pogba on a free? It is because they figure he will see a project and commit. Manchester United are willing to risk losing Pogba on a free. FABRIZIO Romano has confirmed that, and Pogba did convince Varane to come to Manchester United. Varane has come to Manchester United, Sanchez has come to Manchester United. United are willing to risk losing Pogba on a free because they believe they can convince Pogba to stay, and I will be talking about that later in today's video. But the situation is Pogba very, very likely to stay, unless someone puts in a significant bid, and that would only be PSG because Madrid's finances, Juventus finances, there's no really one they can really offer us with a swap deal. There's a situation where United might lose Pogba on a free and they're willing to take risks. We're willing to take risks with Pogba, and I think, I think we could get him to commit pen to paper if we start the season well. If we get Varane, we get Sancho, and maybe Camavinga. Now, Camavinga looks like he could be Manchester United next Sunday, and I will get into that and all of that. Alexander says, Pogba don't love United, let him go. Camavinga would love to play for Real. Sign Neves, he's the right man. He loves United and is a great player. A lot of people saying, we should only get players that do want United, and I do think that is the way to go. Neves is rumoured to be staying at Wolves. However, FABRIZIO Romano did confirm that United are in for Ruben Neves, and I will talk about that as well. And Niall Kane says, Alice, what's your thoughts on Harry Kane not turning up for training? For me, that does not look good. I get he wants to leave. You need to commit. Need to be committed to look at Pogba. All I have to say is I think Rio Ferdinand tweeted or someone, if Paul Pogba didn't turn up for Manchester United training, the media will be slating him, saying he's got a bad attitude. Harry Kane gets away with it because he's Harry Kane. Harry Kane went golfing with Gary Neville, basically said he wanted to leave, doesn't turn up to training, but yet Paul Pogba's the one with a bad attitude. Okay, Paul Pogba's agent Mino Raiola said a fucking load of crap. I hate Mino Raiola, he's a tosspot. But Paul Pogba's always committed to training. Okay, sometimes he can be lazy, but he's always gone to training. He's always, if Paul Pogba did what Harry Kane had done, the media would be going off. They would be going off. They would. And I do think Harry Kane's actions are, yeah, I get you want to move, but it's not the right attitude to go. I think, as a professional, if I'm signing, the thing is, we didn't get Jadon Sancho last summer because Jadon Sancho, although we wanted to come to Manchester United, he was respectful to Dortmund. And as much as I'd love Jadon Sancho to turn around to Dortmund and be like, F you, I'm not playing for you, I'm going to Man United, I actually gave me more respect for Jadon Sancho because he respects his club. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? If Kane wants to leave Spurs, why did he sign a new deal with them? Money. This guy says we'll get Camavinga. We are his best option, and we will be talking about Camavinga in today's video. Evening to Diego, evening to everyone in the chat. Camavinga is willing to stay and leave for free next summer, so he has choice for clubs, says Nick Morris, and that's exactly where I want to get talking. So Camavinga is at Rennes. Rennes do not want to sell Camavinga on a free. They want to get money for Camavinga. So Rennes are more than happy to prepared to sell Camavinga for £30 million this summer. As cheap as £30 million, Rennes are more than happy to cash in on Camavinga. Camavinga wants Madrid. Camavinga wants PSG. Camavinga wants United. Loads of different sources saying Camavinga wants this club, this club, this club. Okay. Chelsea, Madrid, United and PSG in for Camavinga. Okay. PSG, if he goes to PSG, he's got to compete with a lot of players. Lo Celso, Paredes, Sarabia, Verratti, Wijnaldum, Danilo. If he goes to PSG, he's got a lot of competition. Madrid's finances in the mud. La Liga just in the mud. They can't afford him. Chelsea, they're more interested in Declan Rice. They've got Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante anyway. Like, maybe next year they'd be more interested as a Kante replacement. So Camavinga's best option is Manchester United. But we don't know if he wants Man United or not. We know he's open to moving to Manchester United, but we don't know if we're the team he wants. Now, Rennes want to sell Camavinga this summer, but if Camavinga wants Madrid, and the rumour is that he would rather have Madrid, and Madrid can't get Camavinga, could Camavinga just stay at Rennes another year, leave on a free so he can go to Real Madrid, which could be his dream? However, Manchester United's dream midfielder is Camavinga. You know, in a weird way, we are almost in the strongest position to sign Camavinga this summer, in a weird way. And FABRIZIO Romano has come out and said that Manchester United feel that Edouard Camavinga wants to wait and decide on his future. United still consider him as a dream option in midfield. So FABRIZIO Romano has confirmed that, you know, Camavinga is Manchester United's dream option in midfield. Romano has confirmed we are interested in Camavinga. He's our dream option in midfield. I'm pretty sure Camavinga is our third choice signing. We knew it was Sancho, we knew it was Varane. I'm pretty sure the third one isn't Trippier. I actually think it's Camavinga. But with Camavinga, it's a waiting game. We've got to wait and see what Camavinga wants to do. You know, he could easily just stay at Rennes, run down his contract because Real Madrid can't afford him. Then he can just go to Real Madrid next season. But if he really wants to move this season, then he does have Manchester United. And United want Camavinga. I'm sure he's our third dream signing. We know from FABRIZIO Romano that even if we keep Pogba, we will still go for Camavinga because of his price tag. He's affordable. He's the player we want. We know that from FABRIZIO Romano. FABRIZIO Romano has confirmed that he is our dream midfield signing. He's probably our dream third signing. But the situation is with Camavinga, we just have to wait and see what happens in August because Rennes want to sell him. We've held talks to Camavinga. We've held talks with Rennes. We've held talks with his agents. But we're just waiting to see what Camavinga wants to do. And if Camavinga wants to come to Manchester United, I will believe we will buy him. I believe we will buy him if Camavinga turns around and says, I want Manchester United. I believe we will sign him. I believe we'll buy him if that is the case with Camavinga. But we just have to wait and see what Camavinga does because a lot of indications saying that he does want Madrid. Don't know why. Prem greater than La Liga. Facts. But that is the situation with Camavinga. We want him, but you just have to wait and see what happens. And look, I would love Camavinga. I think he's a great signing. I think he's a fantastic signing. But I only want Camavinga if he wants to come to Manchester United. I'm not, you know, if we're the only club that he can go to and leave Rennes, then I'm a bit like, nah. But Rennes, although Rennes have no power over the situation, Rennes want to sell him. Rennes do not want to lose on a free. Rennes want to sell him, but they have no power in the situation. Camavinga is, because he's got 1 year left on his deal, he's in so much control. He's like Paul Pogba. When you have 1 year left on your deal, you are in control as the player, where you go, you know what I mean. So that really is the situation with Camavinga. But it'll be really, really interesting to see how it develops and all that. Please do hit that like button and, of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you are new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. We are 18 subscribers away from 15.8k, 18 subscribers away. So it'd be absolutely amazing if you could hit that by the end of the live stream. So keep smashing that like button as well, and pop any questions to me down below in the live chat. Sound against plus Camavinga in, Pogba out. Now the situation is Romano has confirmed we have been in contact with Soundagez and his representatives. FABRIZIO Romano's confirmed that, you know, we are keeping an eye on the Soundagez Barcelona swap deal and we might swoop in if that falls through. Romano's confirmed United's interest in Soundagez and all that, but there's nothing advanced going on with Neves. There's nothing advanced going on with Soundagez, but we do know from Tier 1 source FABRIZIO Romano, we do have an interest in Soundagez. He would be £40 million. We're keeping an eye on the situation. We're waiting to see what happens with Barcelona and all of that. And I think, you know what? We wouldn't go for Soundagez unless Paul Pogba left. And more indication, and Romano said it today, that Paul Pogba will stay at Manchester United. There's just too much indication that Pogba's probably going to stay at Manchester United. But I do think if we do lose Pogba, I think we'd be right in there for that Soundagez situation. Even to everybody joining the live chat, any questions for me, make sure you do get them down below in the live chat. JB says, Man United need to get a CDM now that Sancho and Varane have signed, and I 100% agree with JB. I hope we get a CDM. It's a waiting game. We know from FABRIZIO Romano today, FABRIZIO Romano said on the United stand that, you know, United have got to focus on selling some players before they buy their next players. We do know that from FABRIZIO Romano on the United stand. However, there are certain players that, you know, we'll go for whether we sell or not. And look, we've got players to sell. We've got Jesse Lingard, we've got Matic, we've got a lot of players to sell. So definitely keep an eye. JB mentions it looks like Kane might force a move away from Spurs. Will Manchester United sign Harry Kane this summer? We will not. If Manchester United sign Harry Kane this summer, I will give away all my monetization to one of you fucking viewers because I'm that confident we will not sign Harry Kane. I am that confident we won't sign Harry Kane. If Kane leaves Spurs this summer, I hate to say it, it's to Manchester City. It's to Manchester City. We're not signing Harry Kane because we've got Cavani. We can't afford him. Daniel Levy's going to want 200 million for this man. 200 million for me. Kane is world class, but 200 million for Harry Kane, but would not pay it. He's injury prone. You've got to remember that. He is injury prone. He wasn't injured much last season, but he's an injury prone player. Now, if you're Manchester City and you run by the richest of the rich, and you're greedy, you can get Kane. But United aren't going to get Kane. However, Chelsea in for Lukaku, City in for Kane, That could free up Manchester United for Haaland next summer. Haaland, Sancho link, bada bing, bada boom. Ollie Haaland link, bada bing, bada boom. So, you know what? If City get Kane, if Chelsea get Lukaku, maybe we could get Haaland next summer because you know Ollie loves Haaland. And I don't think we're going to sign a striker to next summer. I don't think we're going to get Kane even though he's forcing the move. Kane either stays at Spurs or he goes to Manchester City. That is the end of the Harry Kane situation. And that is my thoughts on it. But, you know what? I'd rather Man City get Kane than Haaland. I generally would because Haaland is one for a future. I know Man City, they're probably signing both Kane and Haaland. They're fucking greedy, aren't they? But that is my sort of situation on it. What are your thoughts on Harry Kane's situation? I just said that him not turning up to training, I think, is disrespectful. If Paul Pogba did it, the media would rip him apart. But, you know, Harry Kane is loved by the media. Sound NIGUEZ will not be joining Manchester United. Chelsea doing some silent business. Look, Chelsea is silent. Chelsea efficient in the transfer window. Would I be surprised if Chelsea swooped in and got Sound NIGUEZ? Not at all. Not at all. JB hopes Pogba signs a new deal at Manchester United. And to be fair, now The Athletic, a very, very reliable source, said that Rafael Varane spoke at length to Paul Pogba before finalising his transfer to Manchester United. Now, that is a positive sign because if Paul Pogba's going, Varane, come to United, come to United. Paul Pogba's feeding him positive things about Manchester United, telling him to come. You know, Paul Pogba's not slagging off Man United. He's played a part in this Varane doing a stance of like, oh, you should come. You know how Rashford talks to Sancho like, come to United, come to United. Pogba's talking to Varane like, come to United, come to United. And we know Rashford loves United. And people go, does Paul Pogba love United or does he love the money? Paul Pogba loves United. He just wants what's best for his career. Like, do you want to play for a team that loses Europa League final to Villarreal when you're Paul Pogba? Probably not, let's be honest. But the fact that Paul Pogba had spoke to Rafael Varane and fed him very positive information about the club, I think is a positive indication that we could convince Paul Pogba to put that pen to paper, sign a new deal, because as Romano said today, United are willing to risk losing him on a free. FABRIZIO Romano went on the United stand and said Manchester United will take the risk of losing Paul Pogba for a free next summer to try and convince them to extend his contract. And now we signed Sancho, now we signed Varane, now the club looks like they're pushing forward, progressing forward. Now the Premier League is just levels ahead of every other league. We could possibly convince Paul Pogba to stay. He's being very, very professional. Yes, his agent's an absolute knobhead in Mino Raiola, but he's not missing training. He's not forcing a move. He's not going and playing golf with Gary Neville saying he wants to leave. But if he did, fucking hell, the media would rip him to shreds. The media would rip him to shreds. But, you know, Harry Kane, Golden Boy, gets away with it, all of that. I still think Kane's approach was disrespectful. But, you know, Paul Pogba, Man United, it's looking good. The only thing is, if we keep Paul Pogba, we're not getting Sound NIGUEZ. If we keep Paul Pogba, we're not getting Ruben Neves. However, we can still get Camavinga if Camavinga wants United, because FABRIZIO Romano did say the Camavinga situation has nothing to do with Paul Pogba. So whether Paul Pogba stays or goes, we'll still go for Camavinga. And we know that if Camavinga wants United, we can very, very easily get him this summer. Please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new to the channel. We've got 122 people watching right now, and I am 17 subscribers away. I'm 17 subscribers away from 15.8k. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, do make sure you subscribe down below, as it will mean a lot. All the support on the channel is widely appreciated, and getting some live chats with me. Do you think Ruben Neves is a good option for Manchester United in midfield? I think it's a good option, but I think there are better options. If you want my honest opinion on that. Do I think Manchester United will sign Camavinga? I think it's a very much a 50-50 whether we sign Camavinga. I think if Camavinga turns around and says, you know what, I choose Manchester United, Manchester United's the club I want to go to, I think we will sign him. I think we will sign, because Camavinga's not going to be expensive. Rennes will want to sell him. He's just got a lot of options. You know, he might, you know, Madrid can't afford Camavinga, so Camavinga might just leave on a free and go to Madrid if that really is his first choice. PSG's got a lot of competition to get in the starting 11. If Camavinga says, you know what, the club I choose to go to is Manchester United, I believe we will sign Camavinga, because Romano confirmed that Camavinga is a dream signing for us. Romano confirmed, like, we'll still go for Camavinga whether Paul Pogba stays or goes. Like, he is a dream signing. Like, he's 18. He'll be £30 million. Rennes have to sell. I'm 50-50 on Camavinga. If Camavinga wants United, I believe we'll get him. But if Camavinga doesn't want United, we won't get him. And Camavinga's got a lot of options. We just got to see where he wants to go. Alice, would you take a striker from Fiorentina in Italy? I think Man United will once linked him. I have no idea who you're talking about, I'm not going to lie. But I would take Lautaro Martinez, who plays in Italy. I think Immobile is all right as well, but I'm not bothered about strikers because obviously we got Cavani and all of that. Harry Kane gets away with it because he's English, exactly. Harry Kane, you know, the media have been very, very nice to Harry Kane considering he skipped training, but, you know, he doesn't play for Man United and he's English, so they're not going to hate on him and all of that. Looks like Kane's to City. If City get Kane and Grealish, please just give them the fucking league. They're going to turn us into the Farmers League, because Bayern Munich just buy all the good talent in the Bundesliga. Man City are like, okay, Grealish, Kane, boom. You know, we'll just buy all the good players in the Premier League. Next thing you know, Man City, we're trying to get fucking Bruno Fernandes to replace Kevin De Bruyne. Like, they're trying to turn it into a farmers league. Honestly, they are. Honestly, though, if you are new, do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football to, of course, stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. 17 subscribers away from 15.8k. So make sure you're subscribed. And, of course, please nominate me for the FCA. Voting link is in the description, as Diego says. Ben has put a nice chat in saying, Haaland is the better duo with Sancho in the front line this season. I think that our manager must do their best to recruit Haaland. Now, I was saying this a second ago. Okay, Kane to City. Chelsea look like they've given up on Haaland this summer. Chelsea look like they're in for Lukaku. Kane to City, Chelsea get Lukaku. That frees up Haaland for Manchester United. Now, we're not going to get a striker this summer. I 100% know that. Erling Haaland probably won't leave Dortmund this summer unless someone really fucks off and gives them £200 million. But Erling Haaland will be available for £60 million next summer. And I'm sure if Kane goes to City and Chelsea get Lukaku, you know, that gives Haaland the option of Manchester United, Real Madrid and Barcelona, who are in the mud right now and don't look that good, and PSG, and that's a waste of a league, PSG. And we know that Haaland has a good relationship with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Haaland has a good relationship with Jadon Sancho. So I actually believe if Manchester United have a really good season next season and Chelsea don't manage to get Haaland, that we actually have a chance of signing Erling Haaland next summer for £60 million because he almost came to us. He's got a good relationship with Ole. He's got a good relationship with Sancho. Yes, Man City might get Kane, but I do believe we will be in for Haaland next summer because I believe Haaland will stay at Borussia Dortmund. I believe Chelsea will fail to get him. I think Chelsea will go for Lukaku. I think Man City will end up with Kane. And I think we could get Haaland next summer when Cavani goes. I do think it's doable. And I think Haaland, Sancho, Rashford, front three, fantastic. With Greenwood and Martial and Amad Diallo as your backups as well. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Let me just take a quick drink of water and then I will reply to some more live chats. So any questions for me, put them in the live chat. And of course, do subscribe down below. 17 subscribers away from 15.8k. So make sure you are subscribed. But imagine next season. Imagine like, let's say we finish this transfer window and we sign a CDM. So imagine, let's say we keep Pogba and we get Camavinga in. Bada bing, bada boom. We sell Matic, we get a CDM next summer, and then we get Haaland for £60 million. Our striker options would be Haaland and Greenwood. Our left wing options would be Rashford and Martial, and our right wing options would be Sancho and Amad Diallo. Like, that would be fucking insane. Oh, like, come on, it would be. With Pogba and Bruno as service in the midfield, with maybe Camavinga coming through. Donny, you know, Donny's going to be a big part of Manchester United next season. We know we want to play the 4-3-3. It's confirmed by FABRIZIO Romano that Donny van de Beek will stay at Manchester United this summer. He's more than happy to fight for his place. He wants to have a good season. Man United expect Donny to have a more important role this season. And we do now we signed Rafael Varane, we won't be playing McFred as much because we played McFred as Lindelof and Maguire protection. Now we've got Varane, we don't need to play McFred. Donny could play more. Donny could have more of a role as well. And I do want to talk a little bit about Donny van de Beek later in the live stream. But of course, get your live chat in down below. As we know from FABRIZIO Romano that Manchester United do really want to bring in a midfielder, but we've got to keep an eye on the players we sell. We've got to keep an eye on the players that we buy as well regarding that kind of situation and all of that. But yeah, please do vote for me at the Football Content Awards. By the way, the link is in the description to vote for me. It would be much appreciated. Only takes a second. Joe says that Rashford, Haaland, Sancho would be elite. And that's the thing. So if we signed Haaland next season, Sancho would be 22, Rashford would be 24, and Haaland would be 22 as well. So we'd have a front three with an average age of 22 because Haaland would only be 22 in July. You know, that would be absolutely mad. Imagine Haaland, Sancho, and Rashford. That is like the future of football. Like, that is like the young MSN because Sancho, Haaland, and even Rashford do have world-class potential. You know, if you look at October 2019 Rashford and you tell me he doesn't have world-class potential, he does. He's just been overplayed. He's just been played for an injury. But we know Haaland and Sancho have world-class potential. Like, Haaland's in these Mbappe debates, you know, and Sancho, you know, he gets a bit underlooked because, you know, people that don't watch the Bundesliga think that Saka and Foden must be better than Sancho because they started him for England. Yeah, but, like, everyone starts over Grealish. Mount starts over Grealish. Is Mount better than Grealish? No. You know what I mean? That would be an absolutely crazy front three. And you know what? I would much rather Man City get Harry Kane than Manchester United get Haaland next season and Chelsea get Lukaku. Because out of Haaland, Lukaku, Harry Kane, Haaland for 60 million is who I'd want the most. I wouldn't take Lukaku back. I wouldn't take Harry Kane for 100 million because he's 28 and he's got a poor injury record. You know, he might only, you know, with strikers, Wayne Rooney was done at 30. I mean, Harry Kane, I feel like he's got a good 5 years in him. but he could only have a good another 2-3 years in him as well. You know, he's 28 and he's injury prone, and you have to deal with Daniel Levy. So as much as Harry Kane is pushing this move, I know he's not going to join Manchester United this summer. I know we're not going to get Ronaldo, we're not going to get Harry Kane, we're not going to get Haaland, we're not going to get Lukaku, we're not going to sign any striker this summer. But next summer, I think, you know what, we could be in for a striker. Nick Morris says that Dalot could stay at United, yet depends on if United get Trippier, as Telles is out until September, which is a very, very solid point there by Nick Morris. You know, Dalot could stay, and Telles is out. Look, Kieran Trippier is a player that Manchester United want. Kieran Trippier is a player that has been linked massively to Manchester United, as I've said time and time again. But I look, with Kieran Trippier, we won't make a move for Kieran Trippier unless we won't make a move for Kieran Trippier unless we sell Dalot. You know, AC Milan only coming in with loan offers. Obviously, Manchester United do want to sell and all of that, but AC Milan only coming in with loan offers. But I think if we do cash in on Dalot, that money will go straight into Trippier, because I'm sure we do want to back up right back. And that actually brings me to a really, really good point. I've put Wan-Bissaka. I made a TikTok. I'm going to post it tomorrow. And I talked about Premier League players that I think are going to have a good season. And I think if you get Trippier in, or even if you keep Dalot, it puts a bit of pressure on Wan-Bissaka. But I also think Wan-Bissaka is going to have a really good season. Maybe a Luke Shaw-like season, because Wan-Bissaka's biggest weakness is not going forward and crossing. His biggest weakness is positioning. He's great one-on-one. He's a great slide tackler. According to a Twitter stat, we've only conceded 3 goals from left wingers since Wan-Bissaka's joined Manchester United. If that's true, that is fucking insane. Wan-Bissaka's a solid player, but his weakness is positioning. He lets a lot of crosses on his side. He's not always in position because he has to protect Lindelof, and we do concede a lot at that back left post. You put Varane in. Varane's experience and his organisation at the back line and playing with the best in Ramos and winning, a World Cup and 4 Champions Leagues, he's going to help out Wan-Bissaka. He's going to tell Wan-Bissaka, you don't need to tuck in, mate. Stay in position. I got this. I'm not Lindelof. You don't need to tuck in. Jadon Sancho is going to be playing on the right-hand side, maybe form a bond with Wan-Bissaka like Rashford and Luke Shaw have good link-up play. I think Wan-Bissaka, this is Wan-Bissaka's season to prove. This could be Wan-Bissaka's breakthrough season. He's a solid player. I actually think he's better than Reece James. I think he's unlucky to not actually play a game for England. I mean, Gareth Southgate talks about Ayling and Matty Cash being close to the score, but won't even bring up Wan-Bissaka. He's not that bad. Just because he doesn't look as cool as Trent doesn't make Wan-Bissaka bad. Let's be honest. But he does his job well, and I do think it's going to be a big, big season for Wan-Bissaka. And I do think if you get Trippier in as well, Trippier could be the Telles that makes Wan-Bissaka the Shaw. Do you get what I'm saying? Bruno, Rashford, Sancho, Haaland. I mean, that would be an absolute dream front four. That would be bloody nasty and all of that. 4 likes away from 100 likes, so please do smash that like button. And which 3 CDMs are our top targets? Our top targets are Camavinga, Declan Rice, and I believe third choice target would be Saul NIGUEZ. Okay. However, Saul NIGUEZ won't happen unless we sell Paul Pogba. Declan Rice won't happen unless we get a lot of monies and outs. So, Declan Rice and Saul NIGUEZ depend on who leaves. So Camavinga would probably be our first choice. FABRIZIO Romano confirmed today that Camavinga is a dream midfield signing for Manchester United. Like, he is a dream signing. He's probably our top CDM target, even though he's not an out-and-out CDM, even though he can't hold on his own, because we don't need to sell to buy Camavinga. We just need to see if Camavinga chooses us. And we're not really going to know who Camavinga chooses probably to about a week or 2. But I would say we're probably going to get some interesting updates on Camavinga in the next 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have an indication of whether we're going to get Camavinga or whether we're not going to get Camavinga. It's still very 50-50. I think this coming week or 2 is a big, big week for Camavinga. So do make sure you are subscribed down below to Alice Talks Up if we want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Because if we make a big move for Camavinga, if we're very, very close to signing Camavinga, or if we're just close to signing any player in general, I will be live. So if we're close to signing a player, I'll be live. If we sign a player, I'll be live. If we sell a player, I'll be live. I'll also be live next Thursday for a match preview to Manchester United versus Leeds, first game of the season. I've got a watch along on Saturday versus Everton. So for watch alongs, previews, match reactions, and to stay up to date on all the latest Manchester United news, please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football as well. And all of that. Actually, Wan-Bissaka is better than Walker and Reece James last season. Well, actually, Wan-Bissaka did get more assists than Walker and Reece James combined last season. I think Walker and Reece James got combined 6 assists. Well, Wan-Bissaka did get 7 assists last season. So the myth that Wan-Bissaka can't attack is a myth. Like, just because Wan-Bissaka doesn't look as good going forward in like an aesthetic sense as Trent and Reece James doesn't mean he can't attack. Like, okay, like Wan-Bissaka's crossing isn't a strong point, but he's not. You've also got to remember, like, when people compare Wan-Bissaka and Trent, you've got to remember Liverpool play a different system. Trent and Robbo's job is to bang in crosses. Wan-Bissaka does have a much more defensive job at Manchester United. United as well. Any questions for me, pop them down below in the live chat, please do. And can't wait to see Wan-Bissaka plough through Grealish next season. Imagine Manchester derby. They go, okay, Sterling, Sterling's going to fail against Wan-Bissaka. Sterling, Wan-Bissaka, Sterling's dead. There's no point putting Sterling up against Wan-Bissaka. So they put up Grealish. And they spent 100 million on Grealish for only him to be in Wan-Bissaka's pocket. Would love it. Would love it. Would absolutely love it. The thing with Grealish is he's very different to Sterling. It's very, very easy for Wan-Bissaka to put Sterling in his pocket because Sterling is very, very predictable. Like, in a good way. But Sterling likes to run in, take on players, cut and score. Grealish is much more intelligent than Sterling. His movement's much more advanced. He's more creative. I do think it would be a harder job for Wan-Bissaka to actually defend Grealish because he's more of an intelligent player than Sterling. But you have to admit, Wan-Bissaka, Sterling must hate Manchester derbies. He must be begging Pep to play him as a right winger. He must be going, Pep, no, don't play me against Wan-Bissaka. Don't play me against Wan-Bissaka. Surely, he does get absolutely mudded by Wan-Bissaka, doesn't he? We're on the road to 200 likes. Let's see if we can hit 200 likes by the end of the live stream. So please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Hub if you're not subscribed. But also on the road to 15.8k. We are 9 subscribers away from 15.8k. 9 subs away. So if you are not subscribed, do subscribe down below. Ben says our recruitment strategy is not so bad this inter-season. The emphasis must be put the right now upon strikers. We're in quest of big killer in the penalty surface. I don't think we're looking for a striker till next summer till we sell Cavani. Diego says if you guys can land Haaland or get him at least, make Chelsea bid higher if they really want him. If you guys can land Haaland, get him, or at least make Chelsea bid higher if they really want him. If Chelsea want Haaland this summer, they're going to have to bid mad money, like 160 million. I think Chelsea want a striker desperately. I think Chelsea want a striker this summer. And I could see Chelsea just giving up on Haaland. But it is Abramovich, and if Abramovich wants to play, he will get it done. I could see Chelsea giving up on Haaland, getting Lukaku, Man City getting Kane. So it's between Man United, PSG, and Juventus even, and the 2 Spanish clubs for Haaland. Spanish clubs in the mud, finances in the mud. They haven't got the pull they used to. Juventus, Serie A is a dead league. Ligue 1 is a dead league. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has a good connection with Haaland. Sancho has a good connection with Haaland. If Manchester United have a good season, we could convince Haaland to come next summer for £60 million. Cavani would go. I'm sure we could do it. People say, is Cavani only here for 2 years because we plan to make a Haaland move when his release clause comes into place? Probably. I'm 100% sure if Haaland doesn't leave Borussia Dortmund this summer, we will make a move for Erling Haaland next summer. I just don't know if we'll get him. We're making a move for Camavinga because we want Camavinga, but Camavinga might not want us. He might want Madrid. Haaland might want Madrid, but I'm sure, 100% sure, we'll make a bid and a move for Erling Haaland next summer because he's £60 million. Camavinga, Ghana behind Rashford, Haaland, Sancho. Well, Ghana's not ready, and I don't think Camavinga's quite ready yet. I think Camavinga could play in the pivot pool Pogba and be moulded into it, but definitely one for the future. I mean, you're talking 3-4 years' time, 100%, to be fair. I wish Oli would rate Delo as backup to Wan-Bissaka. We can spend money on Trippier and a midfielder. I do rate Delo. I think he's a good player, but he's so poor defensively. He's really good going forward. And I think Delo would be good in games where you're playing a Burnley, you're playing a Wolves, you may be playing a Brentford, even though he did concede that stupid goal to Brentford. But he was kind of at fault for that. I do think Delo's very good for going forward, but you can't really... If you're playing Manchester City and they have Grealish or Mahrez or whoever the fuck they have on their wing, you can't really trust Delo. You can't. I think he's a good player. I mean, for me, I think we need a CDM so badly that I don't care if we get Trippier or not. Because Trippier's 30 as well. Delo is 22. But I just think keep Delo, go for a CDM, sell Lingard, sell James, £40 million, invest that in a CDM. Even if you can't get Declan Rice or Camavinga, there's Karia, there's Basuma, there's Tuchemini, there's Cooper Miners. There's just so many CDMs out there. I just think go for a CDM. Literally, my head is go for a CDM. Go for a CDM. He's not better than Reece James. Wan-Bissaka's disastrous defensively. He's not disastrous. His positioning is iffy. I prefer Wan-Bissaka to Reece James, but I think Reece James is a solid player, as well. I just think Wan-Bissaka deserved more chances with the England squad. Wan-Bissaka is a liability going forward. Maybe a proper wing, he might look better. I think he's okay going forward. I don't think he's amazing, but I don't think he's as bad as people make out. But I sure linking up with Sancho, he will improve. Someone says, where is Martial? I was talking about how I think Wan-Bissaka is going to have a breakthrough season and prove his haters wrong, because there's a lot of Wan-Bissaka hate out there. But I think Martial is going to have a really fuck-off good season at Manchester United. I really do. I just think, look, Martial had a bad season, and I am one of Martial's biggest lovers. Like, I'm not in love with Martial, obviously, but I'm one of Martial's biggest fans. I rate the guy. A lot of Man United fans are selling him. He's shit. All that. No, he's not shit. Okay. He got the most non-penalty goals in a single Premier League season for any Manchester United player post-Fergie. Bear in mind, he missed 2 months of that season with injury and had Lingard and Pereira for service for half of that season. He was a good player. His confidence has got knocked. With Cavani coming in, maybe he felt a bit unsettled. He's had injuries, and that Lamella twat, thank God he's off the Premier League. He got an unfair red card, and he had a very disrupted season and all of that. But wow, Martial is a good player. Martial's a good player. If we look at his 1920 stats, you know, in 48 games, he got 23 goals and 12 assists. That's 35 goal contributions in 48 games, you know, and he played 3,500 minutes. So Martial in the 1920 season actually averaged a goal contribution every 100 minutes as well. You've also got to remember that, you know, he was subbed on in 7 games. He got 41 starts and 35 goal contributions, and he did have Pereira and Lingard for service for a lot of that season. You know, he did play, like, he had no fucking service for a lot of that season. He did have an injury. He missed 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games of injury last season as well. So it could have been even higher. You know, the rate he was going, he could have had maybe 30 goals and 15 assists. So for me, Martial's a good player. He had a very, very poor season last season. I think he got 4 goals in the Premier League and 7 goals in total with 9 assists, which isn't that bad, but it's not great for Martial. It's not great. I mean, 16 goal contributions in 2,400 minutes, you'd expect better for him. But I don't think Martial's trash. And I do think Martial could have a really big season next season, if you want my opinion. I think Martial and Wan-Bissaka are 2 players that get slated, but 2 players I rate more than happy to keep at Manchester United. I think they'll have good seasons. Just got a recommendation from YouTube. Will sub, loving the content. Thank you very much for subscribing to Alice Talks Football. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel to, of course, stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. We're talking a little bit about what FABRIZIO Romano is saying, but I wanted to have more of an interactive live stream because I do waffle a lot in my live streams, and I just thought, you know what, I want to live stream. I talk about the news, answer you guys' questions, and all of that. So, of course, if you have any news for me or any questions for me, please do pop them down below in the live chat. We're on 121 likes. Let's see if we can hit 150 likes. We've got over 170 people watching. So if you have not hit that like button, please do hit that like button. We got a comment from this person saying, why not Ndidi as CDM? Look, I'd love Ndidi. But do I believe Manchester United will sign him? Probably not. We're going to have to deal with Leicester. As much as I'd love Ndidi, for me, it's not going to happen. I'd love it. It's not going to happen and all of that, if you want my honest opinion. If City don't get Kane, they will go for Haaland. Good point. Good point. Part of me wants City to get Kane, meaning we're more likely to get Haaland. Because honestly, I'd rather Man City splash the money on Kane than Haaland, because Haaland's 10 years. Kane's 3 or 4 with an injury record. I'd generally rather Man City get Kane than Haaland. But I still think if Man City get Kane, the season's over. The season's over. Any updates on Kieran Trippier, says Niall Kane? Well, the situation with Trippier is we've got to wait and see what happens with Delo. We want him. Trippier wants us. We want Trippier. We've kind of got to sell to buy. He's a player that we want, but we'll wait and see what happens with Delo. We'll wait and see with Outs. It's a waiting game for Kieran Trippier. But a lot of people inside Manchester United, a lot of sources inside Manchester United are confident Kieran Trippier will be a Manchester United player by the end of the transfer window. So we just got to wait and see how that goes, but we are interested in Kieran Trippier. Why do you care about Haaland? We need a CM. I'm talking about next season. We need a CDM more than anyone. Look. My dream signing right now for Manchester United, Wilfred Ndidi. Would love it if we got Wilfred Ndidi. Absolutely love it. But I'm just talking about next summer, because I think this summer is about getting that CDM. We need one more signing this summer, and that's the CDM. Next summer is about striker, backup right back, maybe another midfielder, maybe another defender. You know, we don't know until next summer. My camera is going a little bit out of focus, so I'm going to have to stare into the camera. So you're going to have to see my eyes really close up, see if I can get to refocus. There we go. So sorry about that really disturbing close up. Why new CDM? We've already got CDMs like Fred, McTominay, and Matic. I really hope that is a troll comment. Matic is done. McTominay and Fred are box to boxes. I mean, we do need a CDM. I think they can do a job in the pivot, but they were the weak spot last season. Lindelof and Fred were the weak spot last season. We sorted out Lindelof. We need to sort out McFred. Personally, half of the 1920 season, Martial played with Lingard and Pereira. Exactly. Imagine Martial back and forth. Now Rashford's off as well. Martial's going to have a lot more to do, a lot more game time, a lot more trust in him. Martial's going to have a proper pre-season. He's not going to have that twat Lamella diving and crying. Spurs proper cheated against us last season. I'm so glad they finished 7th. And I wasn't even that up. Spurs is a team that doesn't really vex me. I was so glad they finished 7th. I think Martial's going to have a good season. For Bruno, Pogba, Varane, hopefully some more expansive football, a bit of service. more game time, more confidence. Hopefully Martial's a big season. I love Martial. I just wanted to prove people wrong because he gets so much hate. He gets so much hate, and I generally do think a lot of the Martial hate is a bit unnecessary. So yeah, also we've just hit 15.8k. Let's go. So we're 200 subscribers away from 16k now. 200 subscribers away from 16k. So do subscribe if you're not subscribed. On the road to 16k. The goal is to hit 16,000 subscribers before the Leeds game, which is ambitious because that's 12 days away. So 200 divided by 12, that we're going to need about 15 subscribers a day, 15 to 20 subscribers a day. But the goal is to hit 16k by the first game of the season. So we're 200 subs away. So thank you everybody for subscribing to the channel. Joe says Martial has a good season. We'll sell him for say 45 million. That money contributes to Haaland, so the deal could cost 26 million, and we could use Martial funds for him. As much as I'm a big fan of Martial, if we could use if us selling Martial meant we get Haaland, I'd be all for it. I'd be all for it. This guy says Tellers could be out for 6 to 9 weeks. Luke Shaw hasn't returned to training. We're going to be stuck with Williams for a little bit, which isn't good defensively or offensively. But we do need to get Williams alone. I do worry about that. But Luke Shaw, I think, returned to training today, didn't he? I know Maguire returned to training today. I feel like Luke Shaw has returned to training, but I do worry about the Leeds game. I don't really want to see Brandon Williams up against Rafinha because Leeds are good going forward. I like Brandon Williams. I think he's going to be a Premier League quality player, but he needs a loan. Alice, is Pogba likely to leave? And if so, who would you get at CDM? Now, Romano is saying today that Man United are more than willing to risk losing Pogba on the free to try and convince him to stay, and it looks most likely that Pogba will stay at Manchester United and not leave. So, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with Paul Pogba. It's a waiting game. So time and time again. The camera, can you fucking focus? Sorry about that. The camera really isn't focusing. I'm going to have to stare into it again. Okay, so it's half focus. We move. Pogba might stay. He might leave. I think he's more likely to stay. I think if he left, Declan Rice, Saul, definitely options out there. But because he's staying, I think Camavinga's most likely at midfield because Paul Pogba is more than likely to stay and all of that. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Everyone that's just subscribed this live stream, thank you for subscribing. On the road to 16,000 subscribers. So keep subscribing. And of course, link in the description and it's pinned in chat. Please do nominate me for the Football Content Awards for Best Young Content Creator, Best New Content Creator, and Best Premier League Content Creator, as it will mean a lot. Not sure if we'll cough up the Bucks needed to sign Rice, so I say make Basuma a priority at CDM for centre mid. Daniel James, 15 million. Jesse Lingard, 25 million. 40 million Basuma. Boom. I agree. We can't afford Declan Rice unless you sold Pogba or Martial, or maybe you got 40 million for Dean Henderson, because apparently Arsenal are going to pay 30 million for Ramsdale. So I go keep De Gea and sell Dean Henderson. You can probably get 50 million for him. The weird thing is, if Kepa costs 70 million, okay, Kepa costs 70 million, yeah. Ramsdale's going to cost 30 million. I think you could easily get 50 million for a keeper like Dean Henderson because he's young and English. I really think we could, but you know, with United, we'll end up selling someone like Dean Henderson for 10 million quid and just getting completely mugged off. You know what United are like. You just know what we're like, but it would be absolutely mad. I'm really annoyed that my camera's not focusing, and I don't want to like stare into the camera and be weird, but like it's the only way to sometimes get it to focus. Now I've just made that worse. Now it's focused now. Camera does that. I need to get a new one, to be fair. This guy says, in his opinion, Wan-Bissaka is not bad at positioning. Maybe it's because Lindelof was bad at covering his position, which is why he was instructed to tuck in. But now Varane's here. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how Wan-Bissaka's positioning changed with Varane. And as I said earlier, I think Wan-Bissaka is going to have a good season because he's got Varane at right centre-back, Sancho at right wing, and he's going to have Delo or Trippier for competition. So I think he's going to have a push up the arse, and I think it's going to be a big season for Wan-Bissaka. And Martial, by the way. Declan Gill said he'd take Trippier, but he'd prefer Joachim Mahaley from Atlanta and Ndidi or Sakara for CDM. I'm not too familiar with the Atlanta player, but I would take Ndidi and Sakara for CDM. Ndidi's my dream player, but we're not going to get him. Session, why are you obsessed with Haaland? He would be on the bench for my star by Mason Greenwood. I'm not actually obsessed with Haaland. I just really like him. Like, who wouldn't? You never know. I think Greenwood has the potential to be a world-class striker. And I think, you know, he's got Cavani as a mentor. He's probably going to get more service, hopefully. Yeah, we'll see. You never know. Greenwood could score 30 Premier League goals next season, break a record or something. Unlikely. This is the scenes when Mason Greenwood plays 30 Premier League games, scores 40 goals, gets 20 assists, and we're like, fuck you, Haaland. And Haaland's on the bench. But I don't see it happening. But I do think Mason Greenwood could be a Manchester United striker for the next 10 years. I think he's got the ability and potential to be. Is Saul Niguez in England? His representatives are apparently in England, but I'm not 100% sure on that. That did come from the Mirror, so do take that with a pinch of salt. As Diego says, please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Daniel says that he thinks Martial would be a really consistent striker at West Ham. Is really his striker. If West Ham sign Martial, fair fucking play. I think I rate him so highly. I think Martial I think Man City would start Martial week in, week out. That's because I don't have anyone yet. They have Jesus and a washed up Aguero that's left. I rate Martial. I mean, if Martial went to West Ham, I think he would be a banging player for you, but never going to happen, never going to happen. But I rate him. Williams could leave on loan to Norwich if he wants. I know Norwich, Brighton and Southampton have all been interested in Williams. If Luke Shaw isn't fit, Ollie will play a back five, possibly, but then who would he play at left wing back? Williams? Rice, Camavinga or Saul, probably the three most likely midfield options. How about Neves for a role like Carrick? I would take Neves, but I still think there's better options out there. We are keeping an eye on Neves. Let me pull up the quote. FABRIZIO Romano said on the United Stand today, Ruben, Neves and Saul NIGUEZ are on the list of opportunities that Manchester United are considering if they sign a new midfielder. That's what Romano said today. FABRIZIO Romano said, regarding Ruben Neves, it's still an open race for Ruben Neves. It's seen as a possible signing by Manchester United, but there's nothing advanced between Manchester United and Neves. And then Romano also talked about Saul NIGUEZ, saying Manchester United are among the clubs that have been in contact with Saul NIGUEZ's agents. They have interest in the player and consider him one of the biggest opportunities on the market for 40 to 45 million euros, which is 35 to 40 million pounds to get a deal done. But he said that we have not made a bid for Saul NIGUEZ. Romano said that we're willing to risk losing Paul Pogba on a free to try and convince him to stay. Romano said that Rafael Varane is on his way to Manchester. He said Rafael Varane will arrive in Manchester today, then have to quarantine, then have his medical and all of that. I was just giving you a bit of a Romano update there. But we are interested in Neves, but nothing is advanced, as Romano says. Need Neves or Basuma? I take them. I take both of them, but I still would rather get an Ndidi. But I think realistically, Neves or Basuma could be some of our better options. By the way, this guy says, why do people not rate Tony? I much prefer him to Rashford. Rashford's overrated, in my opinion. I don't think Rashford's overrated. I think Rashford's been poor, but this is why I don't think Rashford's overrated, okay? Okay, Marcus Rashford's been poor towards the end of the season, but if you actually go off Marcus Rashford throughout 2020 or Marcus Rashford throughout 2019, he was very, very good. He's been carrying an injury. He's been inconsistent, but I think Marcus Rashford is a very, very good player. He's just not been good lately, but I wouldn't say he's overrated. Because I actually think in a weird way, Marcus Rashford can be underrated. Not by United fans, but like people in general, because Marcus Rashford had a very, very off season last season, but he's still got 36 goal contributions. He doesn't take penalties anymore. He's still got 21 goals and 15 assists last season in 4,000 minutes, which is decent. So he got 15 assists, which is kind of mad actually. He got 36 goal contributions last season. And in the 19-20 season, which was a very good season for Marcus Rashford, he got 22 goals and 12 assists in 44 games. Again, that's 3,400 minutes. He got 34 goal contributions. So he basically averages a goal contribution every 100 minutes, despite carrying injuries, despite being on and off form. So I wouldn't say that Marcus Rashford is overrated, and he is still 23. He's got time to improve as well. But I do think Marcus Rashford hasn't been good the last 6 months because of his injury, if you want my honest opinion. But I wouldn't say that he was personally overrated and all that. I just lost a comment I was going to click on. Manchester United must sell to buy, but it seems like selling those deadwoods will be the hardest thing. It's going to be really interesting to see who we sell. We've got a lot of players that we need to sell, a lot of players I believe we will sell. I do think we will end up selling likes of Lingard. I do think Dalot will go. I do think Pereira will go. But Pereira, Dalot, Jones, Lingard, Daniel James, Mata, Liga, Matic, they're all players that should be leaving in the summer, but only half of them will end up leaving. Phil Jones better go. Go. Just leave Phil Jones. Go. Pereira, he's got to go. We're not going to get 20 million for him unless Lazio have got mud written on their forehead. They probably don't. I think Lingard will go just for his career. I think Lingard will go. You know what? I got back in the England squad playing at West Ham. I'm going to be second best behind Bruno. I'm going to be second best behind Sancho. Not for me. I think Matic could go, but I'm not sure. I'm 50-50 on Matic. I think Pogba's like to stay. Donny's going to stay now. Martial's like to stay, which is good for me. I think Dalot's like to go. For me, Matic should go. Not for me. Sorry, for me, Mata should go, but he won't go. And I think Dan James should go, but he won't go. But I know clubs are interested in Dan James. I think, why keep a player that's going to play max? He's going to start no more than 5 Premier League games next season when you sign Jadon Sancho. Just because you're worried about Rashford's injury, Amad Diallo, Palestri, Alanga, and Sholatiri, I'm pretty sure could maybe offer more than Daniel James to Manchester United in the future. I like Daniel James. I think he's a good player. I think he's Premier League quality. But I think he'd be good for a Brighton. I think he'd be good for a Leeds. I think he'd be good for a Premier League team that plays expansive football. He does not suit Manchester United. He works hard. I give him that. In terms if you're playing Manchester City, I don't mind us playing Dan James at left wing because I know he's going to do his defensive job. I know he's going to never stop running. Right, Dan James, for me, if you can get £15 million for him, sell him because you signed Sancho. If we didn't have Sancho, if we didn't have Amad Diallo and Rashford was out injured, more than happy to keep Dan James. But I'm more than happy to invest in Amad Diallo and Sancho over Daniel James. And I think Daniel James and Lingard should go, not because I dislike them. I love Daniel James, I love Lingard, but they're not going to get much game time at Manchester United. We can get money for them from a financial perspective, but also for their careers. Daniel James is good enough to start week in, week out in the Premier League. Jesse Lingard's good enough to be playing for a top 6 Premier League club, I think. But with Manchester United, he's got Bruno as competition, so he won't. So that's my situation on those two players. Would Sancho play in Rashford's position as he'll be out for surgery? Yeah, 100%. Jadon Sancho can play right wing, left wing, and cam sometimes, but he's a winger. Sancho is a winger, and he can play on the right and the left wing. I think there'll be situations where Sancho will be on the left, Green will be on the right, Martial or Cavani will be up top. Because Sancho's played 81 career games as a left winger and actually 72 career games as a right winger. Sancho is maybe a right winger because that's where he plays most and that's where his FIFA card is, but he's played just as many games on the left wing. Last season, Sancho started 15 games as a left winger where he got 9 goals and 8 assists. And he only started 14 games as a right winger with 14 games as a right winger with 5 goals, 9 assists. He's also played as an attacking midfielder and he's also played as a centre forward. But Sancho can play on the left wing just as good as he can play on the right wing. And I think, we could see Sancho left, Martial striker or Cavani striker and Greenwood right wing for the bit of next season, and even Daniel James on the right because he could be kept around. So 100%. Should give Pogba a deadline if we sign him, sell him, can't risk losing on a free next season, or else would be a huge distraction. Man United are going to take a risk with Pogba. I think they will. I think a journalist said it before. I think it was Mike McGrath said it about a month ago and said United are going to keep Pogba and just risk losing on a free, and he seems to be right with that. To be fair. So who knows? Indeed, is my dream as well. Greenwood is really lethal. Yeah, I think Greenwood could have a big season. Just because he's not at the Euros, everyone seems to forget about him. Watch Mason Greenwood. This guy, I think he's going to be a baller. All of that. Started watching 3 minutes ago and so interactive. Just subscribe. Thank you very much for subscribing to Alice Talks Football. Every like, subscribe, share means a lot. I do pretty much live streams every evening talking about all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. I try and cover all the transfer news as well as I like to read out a lot of live chats. So I try and interact with my live chats as much as possible. I try and waffle about the news so you guys are up to date on all the latest transfer news. If you want to stay up to date on transfer news, do subscribe and stuff. So thanks everyone for subscribing to the channel. And of course, link in the description to nominate me for the Football Content Awards as well. I've pinned it in the chat as well. Please do nominate me for Best Young Content Creator, Best New Content Creator, and Best Premier League Content Creator at the Football Content Awards. I got nominated last year, so I really want to get nominated again because the event will actually be on this year. If Man City sign Kane and Chelsea get Lukaku next summer, we might have a chance for Haaland. Exactly what I was saying at the beginning of the video. Atletico and other big European clubs want Lingard. He doesn't want to return to West Ham, says Nick Morris. It'll be interesting. If I was Lingard, I'd go to West Ham, but there are bigger clubs in for him. But he works at West Ham, so if I was Lingard, he knows he works at West Ham, so I'd go to West Ham. But you also got to remember with this Atletico and other clubs want Lingard. Could United just be saying that to get West Ham to hurry up and actually make a big bid? Because West Ham might be scared about losing him. Greenwood and Sancho would work perfectly, good in my opinion. I agree as well. And also, Sancho's going to give Greenwood service. Rashford cuts in, likes to score. Martial cuts in, likes to score. Sancho's going to give Greenwood a lot more service, like Sancho gave Haaland service. And I do know that I'm going to compare to Greenwood to Haaland, but it could be the new Haaland-Sancho duo could be like Sancho and Greenwood. That could be the new duo of the future. But, I don't want to big up Greenwood that much, but I'm a big, big Greenwood fan. Saul agents are from England. They don't have to come to Spain for the transfer deal. He has the same agent as Varane and Camavinga, and also has the same agent as Dean Henderson, Luke Shaw, a lot of Man United youth players as well. So we have good contacts with Camavinga and Varane and Saul agents. You do make a good point there. Fabrizio said Saul agent lives in England, so why would he be coming to England? Yeah, I think it was from the Mirror saying they're coming to England, but I'm sure Saul agents are talking to Manchester United, but nothing advanced with Saul and Manchester United. We're keeping an eye on it. We're waiting to see if that Barcelona deal falls through and all of that. Keep getting any questions for me down below in the live chat. We're 59 likes away from 200 likes, so make sure you do hit that like button, by the way. And I think your Pogba will stay, although PSG B team this weekend just lost the trophy. Des Champions final against Lille. They may press the panic button. You make a good point, but it's pre-season. I think PSG will want Paul Pogba, but I think Manchester United will price them out of the move, and I think he will end up staying. And all of that. Daniel James to Leicester, yes, please, on loan. To be fair, I think Daniel James would be a good signing for Leicester. He's got the pace. I think he'd suit the Leicester system. Sancho is equally good on both wings. 100% agree with that. The difference is on about fullback, who's playing with Sancho, not left or right. Sancho's going to play on the left or right wing, but you know, I think he'll be a right winger when Rashford gets back. But I think with Rashford injured, we'll see a bit of Sancho on the left. And all of that. This guy says Donny and Neves would be good as number 8 and 6, even if Pogba leaves. The Donny Bruno link up, by the way. Donny Bruno have a really good link up. You know, we saw Donny, Matic, and Mata, and that was a really good midfield three with Mata and Matic, who are dead. Not dead, but slow, sluggish. You get what I mean. Donny, a CDM, and Bruno. Paul Pogba's probably going to say, but Ndidi, Donny van de Beek, and Bruno Fernandes would be a saucy midfield. And Paul Pogba and Ndidi Bruno will be up. World-class midfield, but Donny, we've seen Donny and Matic play together. Greater than Fred, better than Fred. Donny, CD and Bruno would work out well. When Donny and Bruno play together, we score goals. Donny comes on versus Burnley for fucking 6 minutes, we score 2 goals. Donny comes on versus Spurs, gets an assist, we score a goal. Donny, when he plays with Bruno, links up. That Newcastle game, when Donny and Bruno were playing together, the Newcastle game, when Donny and Bruno were playing together, they linked up well. Burnley, Donny and Bruno linked up well. Tottenham, Donny and Bruno linked up well. Donny van de Beek would link up well. Daniel says he really wants a Lingard permanently to happen, but it looks unlikely now. Hopefully, West Ham will get West Brom's Matthias Pereira. With Man United, with Chris Smalling, we waited till the end of the transfer window before we let him go to Roma to see if he can get more money. I think you will get Lingard, but I think United are playing the slow game to see if they can get you to pay more. This guy says Daniel James has zero football IQ. He works hard, but it's almost like he can only run first and put pressure on the opposition. I think football intelligence-wise, Daniel James does lack. I think he puts in good crosses, but I'm like, damn, there's no one in the box. Why are you putting that cross in? You know, his decision-making lacks, but I think the same as with Rashford. I think he's a good, hard-working player. I think he's Premier League quality, but I don't think he has a Man United ability or IQ. I agree. If Saul comes, it will sort the midfield. Well, Saul Niguez, you know, he's not an out-and-out CDM. We couldn't really play a 4-3-3 with him, but Saul Niguez and Pogba in the pivot would probably be better than Pogba and Fred in the pivot. For me, Pogba and Fred is our best pivot. Saul Niguez would improve on Fred. I think Saul Niguez would improve the midfield, even though he's not an out-and-out CDM. And all of that. Robert says, Alice, all I want is to watch Man United playing an attacking football formation and taking the game to the opposition. Can Ollie do that? Ollie can do that if he gets backed. Now, he's got Varane, he's got Sancho. I think if Ollie wants to play a 4-3-3 in attacking football, he's got to get a CDM. Because, okay, now we don't have Lindelof, we don't have to play such defensive football for protection, or we don't have to play more for protection. But because we don't have a CDM, Pogba and our midfielders have a more defensive role. I do believe Ollie can do that if he gets backed, because we saw it as Ollie interim manager attacking brilliant football. We saw post-lockdown Ollie, Matic, Bruno, Pogba, brilliant. Ollie can do it, but he needs to be backed. You know, you can't do it with Fred and Lindelof, but if he's got Varane, if he's got a top CDM, he can do it for sure. Let's try and push for 200 likes by the end of the live stream. So please do hit that like button if you're not subscribed down below to Alice Talks Football. Please do hit that like button. And Sancho with Shorbato, Carlos on the left. That would be absolutely lovely while Rashford's out. And Ndidi, Sumer, Tielemans, that's saucy. Leicester have a better midfield than us. I would take Ndidi, Sumer, and Tielemans over Ndidi, I'd take over Matic. Ndidi, I'd take over Fred. Ndidi, I'd take over McTominay. Sumer, I'd take over Matic, Fred, and McTominay. And Tielemans, I'd take over Matic, Fred, and McTominay. Leicester have a saucy midfield. I'm very, very jealous. And I say games are won and lost in midfield. And I think that's why Leicester are going to have another good season. Maybe they won't get top 4, but they'll be up in the top 4, top 6 race because they've got easily the third, fourth best midfield in the league. And games are won and lost in midfield. We should sell Lingard, Matic, Pereira. We could easily make 50, 60 million pounds. Lingard 25, Matic probably 5, taking us to 30. Pereira 10, taking us to 40. Daniel James take us to maybe 55, 60 million pounds. Alice, who would you sell between Baye and Tuanzebe? I'd probably sell. I'd sell Tuanzebe just for his career because he's got a future. But I'd probably loan Tuanzebe if you want my honest opinion. But Baye is just not reliable because of his injury prone. But I do think on his day, Baye is better than Maguire on his day. Donny has grown more physical recently. He's really trying to push McTominay out of the starting 11. I agree with that. And I think it's very, very possible that Donny can push McTominay out of the starting 11 because I think that Donny is better than McTominay. People say Ndidi lacks passing ability, but he has decent passing for a CDM. His type, if you watch him play, he also has the most interceptions for the last 3 seasons combined, and his tackle numbers are insane. We've got loads of box-to-box players. We've got a lot of midfielders with good attacking output. McTominay, as a box-to-box, can score goals. Donny's a solid box-to-box for attacking output. Pogba's a solid box-to-box. We just need a CDM that's going to protect the defence and free up the box-to-box midfielder, free up Donny, free up Pogba. And Ndidi can do that. We don't need a CDM that's going to score goals and break the lines. We just need a CDM that can do its job, and Ndidi can do its job. That's all we need. So I think Ndidi, that's why Ndidi's a great signing. I agree. In my opinion, if the window finished now, you can't say Ollie hasn't been back. Sancho and Varane fill holes in the team and improve instantly. I do agree Ollie has been backed, but I still think I can't. If we get a CDM, and it's a decent CDM, it's a 10 out of 10 window. If we get a CDM in general, it's an 8, 9 out of 10 window. For me, the window is 6 out of 10 because we've got our first choice targets. Ollie's got his first 2 signings, so he has been backed. But if we can't go into next season with Matic, Fred. I feel like we just need a midfielder. If we get a midfielder, Ollie's been back. But I think Ollie has been back, to be fair. I think compared to previous transfer windows, this has been one of our most successful. So, you know what? I would say Ollie has been back, but I still think we need a CDM massively. Donny was happy being on the bench last season as he was on training regime bulk up for the league, which he has now and release for the season plus part of Ollie's plan. Sorry, I misread that, but yeah, I think Donny van de Beek's going to be more part of Ollie's plan this season, especially if Ollie wants to play this 4-3-3-3. He did use Donny in a 4-3-3 last season. It does work, so I expect to see a lot more of Donny van de Beek next season. If you are not subscribed to Alice Talks Football and you're watching the channel and you like the channel and all of that, please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football. I do daily Manchester United content on the channel, so if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, please do subscribe to the channel. If we sign a player, I'll be live. If we put in a bid for Saul, I will be live. If we agree personal terms with Saul, Camavinga, Neves, any of these midfielders we're in for, I will be live. If we buy a player, I'll be live. If we sign a player, I'll be live. If we're close to signing a player, I'll be live. If we sell a player, I'll be live. You know, I'll be doing match previews, watch-alongs, and that when the season starts. So if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, please do make sure you're subscribed down below to Alice Talks Football. Every like, subscribe, and share means a lot to the channel, so please keep subscribing down below and do vote for me in the Football Content Awards. By the way, guys, I've been nominated for the Football Content Awards. Well, not nominated. You can nominate me for Football Content Awards. I got nominated last year. There's a link pinned in the live chat. There's a link in the description. Click on that. Go vote Alice for Best Young Content Creator, Best New Content Creator, Fave Premier League Content Creator. You can also vote other content creators as well for other awards, but please do that as well while I go on and blab about the stuff. But as Diego said, link in the description, link pinned in the chat, and all of that. I'm just going to address a couple more comments before I wrap up the live stream. So any questions for me, quickly get them in down below. I'll try and read them out. JB says, Donny and Bruno can be attacking and creative midfielders for United. Pogba's a good central midfielder too. 100% agree. JB says that United need a top quality midfielder that can be used for different purposes, can be holding midfielder, box-to-box midfielder, and defensive midfielder. 100% agree. And Robert says, Alice, Ollie will not play 4-3-3. He likes to play the 4-2-3-1. I hate watching this formation. I hate this formation. Last season, our wingers are hardly pressed the opposition. It was Bruno and Cavani only. Ollie plays the 4-2-3-1 because of Fred protection. I think Ollie generally wants to play a 4-3-3 next season, but you can't play a 4-3-3 with Maguire and Lindelof at the back because they need protection, and you can't play a 4-3-3 without an out-and-out CDM. When Matic was playing well, we played a 4-3-3, Matic, Pogba, Bruno. When Ollie was interim manager, we played a 4-3-3, Matic, Herrera, Pogba. Ollie wants to play a 4-3-3, but does Ollie have the facilities to play a 4-3-3? I do believe if we don't sign the CDM, we will play a 4-2-3-1 next season. Also, can we get rid of the keeper to raise funds? We have backup keeper in Heaton. Yeah, I think we should get rid of one of the keepers. I think we should cash in on Henderson. But I don't really know what's happening with the keepers, but I think one has to go because they both should be playing first-team football in the Premier League. I just hope we get a proper CDM, please. Fred couldn't start for McDonald's menu. And wish Carrot was 25, we'd definitely win the league. 100%. I think we all wish that. We need someone like Ndidi. This is the Ndidi Love channel. And is the game against Everton at Goodison Park or Old Trafford? I'm going to Google that now. It is, it's at Old Trafford. It's a club friendly. So that is on Saturday. We'll be doing a live watch along on Saturday. We'll be live around 12:30 on Saturday for the Manchester United Everton watch along. So make sure you subscribed down below for that. But I am going to wrap up today's live stream because I have been live for over an hour. I've been talking a lot. My voice is But thank you, everybody, for tuning into today's live stream. I just want to wrap up everything that's been said. FABRIZIO Romano confirmed Donny is staying. FABRIZIO Romano said that Camavinga is our dream signing, but we're going to have to wait and see what decision he makes. Pogba's looking more like to say. Romano says we are in for Saul and Neves, but there's nothing advanced. We're keeping an eye on them. Romano says that Manchester United will probably have to sell to buy. Varane has arrived in Manchester today. Pogba convinced Varane to join Man United and played a part in that. And Man United are getting more and more convinced that they can convince Pogba to sign a new deal. Players to watch out for next season, I think, are Wan-Bissaka, Martial and Greenwood. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Haaland to Man United if City gets Kane and Chelsea get Lukaku, could be a possibility next season, and all of that. That's sort of wrapping up and talking what's in today's videos and all of that. But if you had any questions for me in the live chat and I didn't answer your questions, please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks All with post notifications on. So any questions you have for me that I was unable to answer in the live chat, make sure to subscribe, put post notifications on, because I will be live again tomorrow night, and I'll try and read out and reply to as many questions as possible in my live chat tomorrow night. So make sure to subscribe with post notifications on. So any questions you have for me, I will try and read out in tomorrow's video. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button before you leave. Thank you everybody for tuning in. But before you leave the chat, because I am ending the stream here, do go to the Football Content Awards and nominate me for Best Young Content Creator, Best New Content Creator, and Best Premier League Content Creator. A link to that is pinned in the live chat, and a link to that is in the description. So while I'm ending up the live stream, it takes 2 seconds. Please go to the Football Content Awards and vote me for that. It would be really much appreciated. I'd love to be nominated 2 years in a row. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks everyone for coming and joining into the stream and all of that. Cheers for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.